So welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations. So Nicole, on yours, I will actually give you the heads up of when you're okay to unmute. So normally when I'm speaking, I just ask that you keep it on mute because my ear is trained to listen to that, and I will lose track of where we're at on things. So you have that kind of belongs. All right, so this parking lot used to be something, which, by the way, congrats, you made it. I take you to weird spots around town. Let's get into it. This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the heck were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is here in the event one of you hears the name Charles, so I know how to address them. They're all 3 different people. You guys got the point.
2.9.
2.9. Keep track of
Had a 4.1.
4.1 in here.
Spiritual.
Spiritual, 4.1, 2.9. Keep track of those.
5.4.
And you're going to keep it escalating.
You can't.
5.4, as they escalate, you won't see anything below the highest number. Keep track. Well, I can get the spiritual part. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution. Big deal for us, but I need politics more than all of you. So you got nothing going on with yours? Spirit, that's one we use last night. It was actually so back to the gentleman who signed the Constitution. If I don't give them the recognition every single night like I normally do, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. So I just make sure I give them their recognition and we move on to Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days when young ladies got married, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards. The husband was over double her age. It was creepy then, it's creepy now. Just giving you that kind of point of reference. By the way, communication devices, I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse. You will be getting the answers from your spirit boxes so you have a genuine experience. That way you're not searching for everything. Back to Eliza. She marries Charles because her father's over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza did not believe he was dying. And instead, she stays put right here and gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year because we're not a country yet. So again, this is a true love story. This is, it's got a lot going on over here. What's the highest we're at? 20.3. Once he reaches 25, that's the new threshold. Yep, exactly. He's got a lot. So she was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight because that's how we still use it. When Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She actually had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always warm here. So then, when she learned how to keep it growing, she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, and got a hold of her dad overseas and told him the rice plantations are going downhill. They were going to make a killing with the indigo. She was correct, because now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza, even though we're getting very exciting numbers coming out of TJ's device. Hopefully Ellen's will catch up soon. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. So, with this location, we're going to be spreading out. Stay away from the 3 vehicles. We're actually fortunate on a Saturday night that there's only 3 cars in here. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just don't go near the cars. Each communication device, I'm going to give you guys a set of focus questions. If you go rogue, just make sure that they're not yes/no questions and that they are respectful. This is a place of respect, if nothing else. So kind of keep that in mind. The focus questions, you can either say these things out loud or you can either just focus on them. That's why they're called focus questions. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Eliza knows we're here. We come here every night asking the same damn thing. These are the common things that we get answers to. So I'm actually going to start off with Sydney and Kirsten because you guys have the same type of device. I'm going to give you the same set of focus questions. Her death, how she died, how old she was when she died, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, 4 major questions that are obviously open, but have very specific answers. So Nicole, you're next. With your spirit box, it only gives us 1 and 2 syllables at a time. You're going to be focused on the mansion. It's not here anymore. What the hell happened to it, and then when did that happen? Everybody keep in mind with communication devices that if Nicole asks a question, it can go anywhere as with anybody else. We're also running 3 cameras and a voice recorder. So even if Mason is asking a question, it could go to my voice recorder. We don't know where the answers are going to go. Even if there were 2 of you here tonight, I'm always going to use at least 2 communication devices plus a camera, just to make sure we have enough places for those answers to go. Word list. So Shanna and Amanda, your devices are going to kind of hopefully work in tandem. That's the hope here. We're looking for words. Anything that spells out more than 3 letters, I want to know what it is. But you're also going to be looking for Eliza's full initials of ELP in that order. No anagram, no scramble. Because, you're going to be looking for Eliza's L. That's what it stands for. The reason why is because Eliza that I just talked about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife named Eliza also has a maiden name that started with the letter L. You're going to be figuring out which Eliza we're dealing with by hopefully getting the maiden name. So just kind of keep that in mind. I think I covered all communication devices at this point. Hopefully these really bright lights will go away very, very quickly. Cameras are already up and running. Has anybody heard or seen anything crazy going on yet? I'm looking at yours right now, Mason.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it could be the trash can.
More than likely, since it's standing still.
Yeah.
So just, Mason, when you find something on there and you're like not sure,
yeah,
it's okay to say, hey, if you're Eliza, raise your right hand. Like, ask for something specific.
Okay.
And we've had those kind of reactions before, which is why I continue to use that specific camera.
Okay.
So again, with that one, I probably get about maybe 6 or 7 per year, where I'll put my stamp of approval on it.
Yeah.
So a little bit more than the thermal, but at the same time, a lot of debunking with that one, more so than the thermal.
Yeah.
Because again, it's going to pick up a lot of things.
Okay.
So have you hit your record button yet?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure you're blinking in the front. You are not. So it's a very
okay.
quick tap.
I just
There you go. There you
Okay.
go. And it'll just keep running.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm going to have you all spread out. I'm going to do a round robin or two to see what's going on with your devices, take a lot of notes, and then I'll regroup us here to give us all the answers. I'm going to keep Amanda behind with me, and I'm going to take notes from you in just a minute, but I do want you to talk to Shane about how to get to the word list and how, kind of that we're going to start that round robin there. All right, everybody, spread out. Let's see what we can find. Nicole, let's get you unmuted. Did you find that button? Okay, it's the only button on the right.
Alright, so to get to the word list, you're going to hit the little scroll on the side, and
Seconds to warm up, so whenever you want that
then
button.
you'll be able to see everything that you got.
All right.
And then to go back, just hit the arrow.
That's a tree, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, that's a tree. Okay, that's a lot familiar. Huh?
Anything crazier?
Nothing yet. Just a tree. And make sure mom's not going to be stumbling over it. It's just a tree dog. Nah, none yet. Stand up. Nope. No? Reflection. That's what I thought. What? What did it say?
Sandwich.
Make it, Mom.
Mom's mine.
I didn't know the drink this buzz is wearing off already.
I know, right?
See, he keeps saying trees are not going to be my friend, but I'm seeing a lot of figures in these trees. I want to hang
He
in there.
said leaves.
Oh yeah, they're trees though. They got leaves on them. Nah, that ain't none. It's like I'm holding a lantern up right now.
I'm supposed to be talking in my
Huh? I don't think it matters for you. I think it picks up electronic.
okay.
Okay. My camera keeps getting fuzzy. I mean, it's not now, but it keeps getting fuzzy here and there. It's probably because I'm shaking so much. Give me something. So keep doing that friggin' branch thing, dog. Liza. Ain't nothing here. Come on. Give me something. Give me something. Let's just relax. Come on. Give me something. 3 people over there. A bunch of people here. Come on. Give me something. It's obviously something. Yeah, I don't trust that. Oh, crap. I'm getting some pretty dang cool action right here. I think, anyway. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a reflection on my shadow. Nah, yeah, I'm getting some decent something. I don't know. I was, just until you did that. I don't know. I thought I had something a little dancing right here.
Oh, I see it. I think it's that light.
It probably is. I don't know. Could be all the vodka, Mom. Could be all the vodka. Yep. Just a light. Just a light. And tree. Yeah, I was taking out the trash and I was like, holy crap, this one's not disappearing. And then but the other one that I looked up and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Imagine how funny that would have been. I got one.
Really need our eyes on the little.
Huh?
I said I really need eyes on the little.
Where is she? Oh. I didn't know that was her. I don't know. Nothing. I don't think you're real, brother. I think you're just a tree with some leaves. That's exactly what you were. I don't know. People. You're a giant.
So you'll hear songs that I just like. Alright, I think she's safe.
Huh?
Next.
Ooh. You always give me like my thing spikes every time you come around.
That's the electro.
We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Every time.
The only thing I'm finding is my hand from wore out already.
Ooh, I heard a voice. No more furs. No more skins. No more.
A couple of debunking things that you also need to know besides leaves.
Okay.
Shadows.
Yep.
It's an absence of light.
Yep.
It's gonna make it look like a dead person's laying on the ground when it's really you.
Yeah,
Just
I
so you
kinda
know, kind
saw
of pick
that
that up
over
on
there.
that. I was waiting. Most people will say like, I thought I saw somebody over there, and
Yeah.
it was right over my shadow. I'm like, that's because it was your shadow. So kind of keep that in mind. With yours, you're the only real-time camera that we have here because of the size of your screen.
Yeah.
So I will kind of like say, hey, have you got anything weird or anything of note? Because I will kind of check up on those things. The other two are really small. I send all these videos to YouTube. I watch them on a computer. You guys
Yeah.
watch them on TV. So again, yours is the only one where I'll say, hey, what do you got going on?
Yeah.
Keep it running for the entire time that we are in a space, because if
Okay.
you hit record by the time you think you saw something, it's already gone.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of people are like, oh, I give their camera back and they have like 25 videos in there. I'm like, oh my God, you should
Yeah.
have like 5, maybe 6
Yeah.
at best. So kind of keep that in mind. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably the only weird thing I did see was probably over there while you were talking.
Okay.
But it probably definitely was shadows. But
Okay.
also couldn't have really tell. I was,
I'll take a look.
you know.
Kind of see what we
but-
got.
That's the only weird thing I did see.
Yeah. You got obviously some kind of weird outline of the truck. It looks like it's giving the hood of the truck.
Yeah. But I don't know, it could be reflection from the lights and all
Yep.
that. So
Lots of debunking with this camera.
Yeah.
I also brighten it up. So if I don't know what it is and I can't see that it was a tree or the outline of the truck, I take a screenshot and brighten it, and then you guys will actually have a slide bar to see the original.
Okay.
And then you move it over and you see the very bright one to see that
Yeah.
it was a tree behind it.
Okay.
Or if I'm like, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Like, this is a whole different position from, I'm sorry, is that Dad?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a whole different person next to Dad that has a whole different position other than standing like this.
Yeah.
He's standing like this. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for those kind of things behind him, around him, that kind of thing. But he is a great point of reference for height.
Yeah.
So, and ghosts are not going to be 50 feet tall.
That's true.
What do you got?
Did
Yeah, Alan?
tell you that he had like a 38?
Yeah. Yeah, I got up to a 38, 39 with him so far with his device. Follow up one more quick round robin with everybody and kind of see what we got, and then yank us all back. Kind of see what we got.
Interesting. That scared the crap out of me. That's a sign. Oh, this one's kind of lighting up though. Elena, which one are you? If you're one of them, charge towards me. Push me to the ground or something. Scuff my shoes. Shit, don't do that, please. Very nice and pricey. That's pretty cool. That's when I'm moving. Come on. Obviously, there's a stop sign here. I guess I can. Which one is that? I don't know. Yeah, that's a no-go, Jer. It's actually not picking you up. Okay, now just...
All right, guys, let's pull this one together. Let's bring everybody back.
This is like my robot.
Whose idea was this out of the four of you, by the way?
Well, if it's really early.
Okay, so a perfect person for the spirit box then. Yeah. Love it. All right, so did you two finally get anything out of your device?
Nothing on mine.
Nothing out of...
Hard to decipher on ours.
Yeah, it's not an easy task. And especially when you're not getting even half of what the other two young ladies were listening to. So that's kind of the point. Amanda, did you get anything coming out of yours?
Just gotta how.
Like HOW?
Yeah.
Simple how? Yeah, it's really a whole lot. I'm going to write it down just because it's a three-letter word, but again, I got a whole lot of nothing with that. Kirsten, anything extra since last we spoke? Okay. Cameras, if you have one, go ahead and hit those stop buttons. When we go in between spaces.
All I heard was the word sorry.
Sorry.
Ooh, what?
How close were we to this location? Were we closer here?
Crossing the street back there.
At the same time you heard that blue, that's super weird. We're gonna let them pass through. Come on through, darling. How are you?
I'm good, baby. We're not talking about ambulance today. Come on. Oh, here's your boot.
Word list. Shanna, where are we at with yours?
Oh, John.
John, is that what you're on right now?
Yeah.
Okay, and what were the 2 words before it?
I had stranger
Okay.
and analyst.
Analyst. John's weird. And Amanda, where are we at with that guy?
Right now, nothing. I did reset it, but before we left, it had FOE, like FOE.
Makes sense. Oh, makes more sense here. It's almost like they knew we were on our way, so that's kind of cool. Again, cameras, if you're not already up and recording, again, just kind of be discreet with some of these other tours walking through. So again, Mason, with yours, it's very obvious, so I'll just kind of yank it back in. Oh, you're good, you're good. Sometimes tours will pass through, just like we cut through those other 2 tours. This is probably the most, how do I put this, the most common part of ghost tours here in Charleston, which is another reason why I was going to take it out. But again, the guy follows me around. I'm going to tell you why here in just a minute. We're going to wait for this group to pass through. So. Come on through, guys. You're fine. I love how they're all whispering. Alright, so this is Philadelphia Alley. I'm actually excited about the word faux. I know it's a little far away from this location, but you'll see why in just a minute. This, we're going to let these
Which
folks.
word was it?
Faux, F-O-E.
Oh, it's in here?
Yeah, it actually showed up on
okay,
the, yeah, it actually spelled it out for us. So, letter by letter. It's perfectly fine, guys. Come on through. And we got one more group coming. Alright, so this used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So I say some of the duels because it was illegal back in the 1700s. They had to find hiding spots. So this used to be one of them. So Jordan, I'm sure you've been here before and have heard this story 1,000 times since you've done other ghost tours around town. I'm going to give a few extra details around this because you're ghost hunting. For those of you that have spirit boxes, feel free to listen in if you want to, aside from Nicole, because I will be distracted by your spirit box. So again, definitely keep an eye on that word generate, the Ouija board device. You're looking for the letters R-I. I'll explain that in just a second. So here's how the story goes. Everybody tells the same story. Let's get into it. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. There's your first R.I. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the song Brown Eyed Girl shows up while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. On his way into town, he had a coachman that set him up to be robbed and killed. It was kind of like having a really bad Uber driver today. I just kind of like to make that point when I have younger people in the group. Now, because again, they don't know what the hell a coachman is. Now, back to somebody walking by and seeing what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. So RI has shown up on our regular spirit boxes in the past, so I bought that Ouija board device specifically for this location. We've had it about 6 or 7 times in the past year, so take that for what it's worth. Back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. There's a friends of mine. They'll rent you a room. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. The 2 gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So he's making his own. She gets wind of this, and she's moving down soon, so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. I hate this story because of the giant cliche. Every haunted city you are ever going to visit has a cliched whistling ghost. They all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So, moving on. Let's talk about why we're in Duelers Alley. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So, they go see Richard III one night, and they are arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought that the new actress was fantastic. Ralph couldn't stand it. He thought she was horrible. They start arguing, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town and goes to his friends at the newspaper. He places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a "you're a disgrace to society" kind of thing. Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, "Let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all." I want you to guys keep in mind, this argument started over an actress. Pretty dumb shit, right? Now, two gentlemen came down here back to back. They took the 10 paces away from each other. They turned, and Doc points his gun in the air and shoots his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. We're going to wait for the very loud group to come through. Well, I heard even further away than that. They're very loud. Did I say that out loud? I sure did. Welcome to Saturday
That's
night,
creepy.
Sorry, y'all.
You're good, you're good. Now, Doc shoots his bullet in the air, but Ralph still has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die either. He fell to the ground, and he's obviously hurt. And Ralph proved his point. He's not willing to forgive his friend. But Doc's friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out a couple of things. It is 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. Every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles while you're down here, even though it is very noisy down here tonight. It's normally not. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. In the event we're going to capture a disembodied voice, it's going to show up on one of those 4 devices. However, the 2 spirit boxes that Sydney and Kirsten are listening to, can't tell you how many times I've actually captured a whistling part of a song and the word doctor immediately after in my spot checks. It happens dozens upon dozens of times. It is his solid little hello that he's letting us know that he's here. And when we go up and around the corner, he's probably going to follow us, and he'll probably show up at our last location as well. All because of places of raised emotion, the same way I described at the Pinckney Mansion. But in the event that you're going to try this on your own, because I can't take you all the way through here, I've actually been kicked out of here. I know, fun part of the story, I'm going to get into that. Let's say you try this on your own without me, and you have your voice recorders from your phones, and you walk all the way through. And just remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down the alley. It's just something we do here in Charleston. So just kind of keep in mind they're very easy to debunk when we do get one. So let's talk about how I got kind of kicked out of here. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there before it was Jeweler's Alley. The reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows, goats, and chickens were all down here. So what does that mean? That means that the bricks down on the other side, down by Queen Street, are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there at the end in one of those bricks, along with some fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my group all the way through for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about that. You already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. So, November 26th of 2020, I took my group down there for their history lesson, and all 10 people, same group that we have tonight size, is huddled around that one brick waiting for something to happen, and I'm trying to shoo them along because I know nothing's going to happen. It's also because we're standing outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful to the home at the end. I didn't realize we were out of bounds for tours. I'm still relatively new at this. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. She thought it was great because she was on a tour that night and Dad's getting yelled at. She was all about it. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in upper management for Walmart. You guys like to fight for towels on Thanksgiving. We're going to let these ladies pass through. Hello, hello. So y'all have scarred me for life on Thanksgiving. I just stay home. So the next day was the 28th. I told my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened with the neighbor, and he laughed just like she did. He said, "You're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. Otherwise, it's considered residential. Reroute your group." When I told them, my group that night, because it's Black Friday, I'm sold out. I don't believe in the next story. We're going to let them pass through, and I'm just going to keep going. The next story, I've never had anything happen over there with any of my gear before, so we're going to see what happens. I'm into vampires, not pirates. So, this next story used to be pirates. I don't know that we're going to be able to do that story tonight, just because they've actually been very strict about who's allowed in that space. So we've actually been going with another piece. But anyway, I didn't tell them who, but somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne coming out of a spirit box. I didn't tell them which pirate. It's the famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. That's why when the young, the pirate tour guide came through, she's like, "You're not talking about Anne." Because normally she's like lingering about when I'm kind of covering this part. So we go around the corner. I told them what I did know about pirates in Charleston, which wasn't much at the time. Somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what it meant, so I wrote it down and I did the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So, I will tell you, like I said, we're probably not going to be doing that story tonight because we're getting very close to another anniversary of another tale it's a very interesting piece. And Kayla's camera is going to be coming up in very big play once we get over there, just because I don't think the other tours even realize how close we're getting to the anniversary of what goes on at that location. So just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully Spirit Boxes will still be continuing to get things from Dr. Ladd, even though when we go up and around the corner. So kind of continue on. If we've heard or seen anything weird before we leave this very warm space.
The doctor.
Do you have Doctor?
Yeah.
You're supposed to stream that stuff out. That's great
Sorry,
stuff.
I was listening.
All right, anybody else got anything? I'm actually really excited about that, which means we just missed something else in real time. All right, perfect. Nothing coming out of the two of you? I know it's hard to listen to me and those at the same time. So cameras, if you want to keep them up and running while we go up and around the corner, you're perfectly welcome to do that. I'll kind of explain once we get to that stop why Kayla's camera is so much more important at that specific location. But you guys ready to go see what's going on with this apparition? By the way, Amanda, did you get anything going on with yours at all?
I thought I saw I, but it wasn't the word I.
Not the word I. By the way, EMF meters between the two gentlemen across from each other. In this location, I was looking for an 8 or above. Did either one of you see those things? The reason, okay. The lamp post will give off up to about a 7, so I usually jump to an 8 just to make sure it's not anything specific. Even when we go up and like near the church, once we get close to that particular
Well,
rod.
the church behind it?
Yeah. Same
So
post.
this is, right, so it burned. Was it part of the big fire?
It was part of another fire.
So it wasn't that fire?
Not that specific fire, no.
Is the church we're going to this one or the original?
This one. Further down, correct. So it is this one. But I will tell you, like, because we'll be on Church Street, if you guys look at it on your Google Maps like viewpoint, it's actually got like a U that goes around the church and then just continues on. And that's the reason why it's called Church Street and not Dock Street, because Dock Street Theater is also on that particular road. That was the only building that couldn't move to like widen the road, so they just went around it. So then it was like, we'll just rename this place Church Street. So just little fun facts around Charleston. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go see if we can get around that particular church.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna take a picture of that. That's freaking awesome.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, turn around, hurry.
Oh, Mom, look at that.
What? That's incredible.
I know. I have nothing. Maybe I shouldn't hit record.
All right, so Kayla's camera is super important, and we're going to position Kayla right here. Filming. Do you see where the cross headstone is in the distance? We're going to keep the camera focused on that right there. We can even like go like put this against the bars if we need to, so that we're not getting too much of the bars. So we kind of, this one's an odd one. This location is usually where all of the other ghost tours stop and end things. So the reason why we're doing this piece of history tonight instead of the Anne Bonny tale is because last week there was parking lot attendants that were going through the lot where I tell my Anne Bonny tale for us to investigate and basically booting out all of the tours. So they usually do that for a few weeks just to kind of kick off the summer, and we'll all be allowed back in there as the weeks go on. I know there was a tour or two over there already, but I'm like, I'm not going to risk it. I don't like tickets. I don't like to pay those. So we're going to stick to this story tonight because the anniversary of this is actually coming up in the next 2 weeks, and we want her to get used to me because I'm going to be doing a live session looking for this apparition as we kind of go through this. So there's a sign right behind me, and it reads, "There's no ghost here besides the Holy Ghost."
Men in this group.
Yikes.
I can give you a tip for how to make that.
The reason why is they don't want jerks like me with cameras like what Kayla's holding. Oh my god. Like seriously. Like, can we get any louder as we walk by? But the sign is because they don't want guys like me with these cameras to be able to try to reenact what actually occurred here. 1888, a young lady passes away. Her name is Sue Howard Hardy. So Amanda, where you at? You're looking for the initials SHH. Sue Howard Hardy. I know it's cheesy, it's campy, but shh, right? Because that's what it spells out. We've even been shushed on spirit boxes before without me even telling this story and had other clues relevant to it. Back to Sue Howard Hardy. She dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. 1987, 99 years later, a photographer's taking pictures of all of our beautiful cemeteries in town, putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition in one of his images. Now, it's 1987, which means he doesn't have the tech that we have now. So he sends it off to Kodak. Kodak can't determine what's going on with this picture other than they can prove what camera it came from, which it was true of what he said it did, and that the picture was not altered. So, This picture is said to be cursed, which is why I don't always like telling this story, but it is cursed to females that are handling the picture even in a digital format. So even if I pass my tablet around, headache, nausea, dizziness, the same types of symptoms we talked about at the beginning of the night are things that can occur. Pregnant females that are handling that kind of digital format said to not have a good pregnancy. You can see why I don't want to curse somebody's good honeymoon. That's why I don't pass out the picture. You guys can all circle around and I will zoom in on it. But the hope here is that this actually happened on June 16th, the exact 99th anniversary of Sue's death. Another picture was taken, I want to say it was like 2012, 2013, of another wispy style figure in the same area. It's just not defined like the picture I'm about to show you. So again, definitely keep an eye on all of your devices while we're here. But I want you guys to all kind of like circle around real close so I can show you guys this photograph. Again, nobody touched the tablet. I will zoom in. So here's the full picture that he took. And you guys are looking at the apparition right here. You're looking at a woman kneeling next to her own grave with a baby basket next to her. You guys all see that? So even when you zoom in even closer from an actual computer, you can see the weaving of the basket from this photograph. Okay, I didn't get a chance to see. So this is basically what you're looking for. We're probably going on social media live at probably around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning after I'm done with that tour that night. And with that particular camera to see if I can actually capture it again in motion. Nobody has anything from an actual video camera. It's all been from photographs. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to capture something while I'm going live on social media with this, and we'll be able to see what we can actually get out of it. Good job, Mason. Appreciate that. It's like, I'm all over it, man. So yeah, all 3 cameras. Let's get those things in there. We kind of hang out here for a minute. We're gonna let Nicole listen in to kind of see if anything's going on. How's our word list coming while we're sitting here and just kind of chit-chatting, waiting?
I've had shock, climbing, cruel, told, and veteran.
Veteran? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Kirsten, anything from any of us? Okay, see that? Okay, listen in for a few minutes. Again, you're looking for that SHH. We've had it show up there several times, along with the word baby. Again, I know I'm always telling you guys about dead kids. There's a few more coming, I'm sorry, but that's usually the tragedy of Charleston is running dead children, unfortunately. EMF, we haven't noticed anything with EMF at this location yet. And again, I'll be honest, when I used to tell this story when I first got started, I didn't have the meters that I have now. I only had the little blinker light device. So I don't know that anything might or may not occur with your devices here. I've only been coming here for the past, 4 or 5 nights since they've been going through the tours over there. So we'll kind of see what we get while we're here. We're just going to wait a few minutes while we get some good footage. And of course, you guys, I will focus on this footage when I get back to the office. While we're here, just kind of like hanging out for a few minutes, let me explain the next 2 locations. They're a lot different than what we've been doing. So the next location is a murder mystery. So I don't always do it on Fridays and Saturday nights because it can be a little, crazy on that end. But I think that I am actually going to take Nicole and I'm going to give her a headset to where she can actually listen to a voice recorder directly. It's a musician's voice recorder. So what she's listening for are actual direct voices from the ghost, not radio chat. So we're going to stop her spirit box over there and give her that crazy headset, and I'm going to tell the murder mystery, and you guys are going to come up with questions of how we can get this woman to come and talk to us. The last location, we're going to be doing the Estes method. So the Estes method is a blindfolded spirit box test. Let me explain. Sydney and Kirsten are going to sit on a bench with blindfolds on, and they're not going to know the history of the location, and I'm going to talk to them as if they're the ghost. A third person will be involved with this, and it's either going to be Amanda or Alan. You guys can fight over who's going to be doing it. But they're going to be wearing a virtual reality headset, and it's going to create images out of artificial intelligence that's hopefully going to complement the conversation that I'm having with Sydney and Kirsten. So this is a very fun experiment. It can go either way. It can be super silly, or it can actually turn out to be very, very fruitful, to where we actually have a full-blown conversation along with images that are popping up that are super relevant to the location. Now the images are about 50% accurate. So about half of the images that show up are accurate to that specific location, and then the conversations that come out of the spirit box ladies is about 33% accurate. So about 1 out of 3 chance we'll have a pretty decent amount of answers coming through the right questions. So I usually sit those 3 people down first, and then I take everybody else to teach them the history, so you guys can all watch this unfold and know what these answers are going to be. So they're not going to know anything. That's the whole fun of this. But the next location, it's another brief one, but again, Nicole will be sitting on a set of stairs and just listening in very intensely to the very fine details around her, because that thing is pretty intense. So anything crazy going on with our cameras? Okay, Jordan, you got anything over there?
Nothing.
You have a great vantage point. It's part of the reason why I gave you that camera. You're super tall, dude. Love it. I love how he just put his hands right in the middle of this and said, let's do this. At this point, I would say let's go ahead and put a stop to your cameras along our way, because we're going to be walking about 2.5 blocks from here. So most of you have a QR code on the back of your device. That's my business card. If you want all of my info and contact info, that's the way you get it. Tap it. Yeah, we are here a little bit late. We are a little bit later than we normally are. And right.
That is messed up.
Looking for your recognition when I need it.
spot for suspicion.
That's just weird because we're still near
What's
Mary
going
death.
on here?
This is actually how I learned about that Mary piece, by the way. We had a lot of images come through that I had no idea.
We like to express.
Henry, did somebody else come here with you? That's a yes/no question.
Hear the gospel.
Henry, who else is here with you?
What score it is? 7. That desire. Happy.
Henry, there's not a whole lot
Again.
going on that I can decipher coming out of this. So can you tell us good night
Boys.
at least? We're gonna wrap this up a minute or two early. So can you tell us good night?